We're going to learn Hilchos Chanukah. Shloshim Yom, already close to Chanukah. Simin
Kuf Lametet.
Kuf Lametet. Simin. We're all using, I think, different svarim, so we'll go by the Simin, Kuf Lametes.
It's like a history
Is there one with the Eshkel? The middle one. Shukach. No, not this one. Is there one with the Mefarshim?
The Alter Rebbe?
No. There's one of the other ones with the Mefarshim. And there's Geddes. No, I think it doesn't have. I don't think any of them have. Okay, we'll use this one. Kuf Lametes, Hilchos Chanukah. V'bayi Sheni, v'shamolcho Malchus Yavon, Gozu Gezeres HaYisrael, Bitlu Dasam. V'hinichu Oisam Lasik B'toyre Mitzvahs. Tashtu Yideim B'mamoinam, U'b'nei V'seya. Shekayach.
It's an old.
Sometimes he adds good points that we can give over.
Look, it's a very interesting halacha. It's a history halacha.
Yeah. Here we have a history halacha.
Very interesting.
Pashti dem meinu say menichas lahechol, or parts appears of the timos hatares. But tsar lahem yisrael ma'oid mipneim. It really was disturbing for Klal Yisrael. For lochtum lachatz gadol, tremendous pressure on Klal Yisrael. At sherichem aleim alekei aveisenu, v'hishiyam miyadam v'tzilam, v'gavru b'nei chashmonoi hakoyinim hagedolim. The b'nei chashmonoim that came from Kohanim Gedolim, v'hargum, they killed them, v'hishiyus yisrael miyadam, they saved the Yidden from their hands, v'midu melech min hakoyinim. They put up a king from the Kohanim, which that wasn't really, they should have done. They shouldn't have put up, king has to be from Malchus Beis David. Because the Malchus Yisrael Yasal Masayim Shana, for over 200 years, the Malchus went back to Klal Yisrael, ad hachor ben Hasheni. Shagav Yisrael Avehem v'ibdum, when they won, Chafei b'chodesh Kislev, how it was, and Chafei b'chodesh Kislev. Chanu Chafei, Chanukah stands for Chanu Chafei. They rested on the 25th. V'nichz laheichol ematzu Shem eter mikdash al pach echad sheimuna b'chasamish shekein gadol v'hoy b'halak yemecha b'vad v'viku neinis hamaracha shmini yamim. They had only enough to burn for one day. They lit it for 8 days. They were able to light at shakachu zeis until they had time to crush olives at Tziyu Shem eter, to bring new olives. It took 8 days. Pnei zeh skinu chamsha eis ader sheyishmei l'tem ha'elo shemaschilin b'chafei b'kislev yimei simcha v'halol. You light candles at the doorways. Lahares or the gales hanes. Yom Elon Kaim Chanukah, it's in Elena Cham Chavhei. Shivyim Chavhei Chanum Eveim. They rested. But another reason why it's called Chanukah, Yom Elon also Chanukah Sabayi should say to more. They had to redo the Beis Hamikdash. It was dedicated again. It was called Chanukah Samizbeach. So Chanukah, Malash dedication. Because of this. Another reason why it's called Chanukah, the Mishkan, which happened much earlier in history. The Malachas HaMishkan was completed during these days. You should tell over to the family what happened, the Nisim, and you can go look at the Sefer of Yosifin, has stories. We also have, by the way, the Makavim, the Sefer Chashmonoim. Yeah, the Sefer Chashmonoim. It has a story. This is not part of the Sefer Kodesh, but this has the history of what happened then. When we call Makim Lehava Ella Sil's Mitzvah. Having the Suda itself does not make it a Suda's mitzvah. As a mitzvah Suda if you also say Shiris with the Shvachis to Hashem during the Suda. Omar Mistaka v'nei Chanukah school Masakim Pigmei Nafshei Hidei Tzedakah. And B'yichud v'loimdei Torah Haniyim v'chaskun. Another halacha, and then I want to talk a little bit. Amos anin beis b'mechanukah. You're not allowed to fast. Means someone has a yard site, or some people have a minute to fast in the yard site. Many kehillas, you don't fast. Chosim and kala don't fast. Different things that you don't fast in these days. But the day before and the day after you do. Now, before we go weiter, just a little bit to discuss the Inyan. So there's something over here that's it's important to point out what the Pais can bring out, that the difference between Chanukah and Purim. The famous Vard starts from the Lavush, and Mordechai Yafa, which he says like this: Chanukah was a nes, was for a ruchnistic Yeshua. Purim was a gashmistic Yeshua. It's meant like this: Purim there was a gzeira, v'huma v'la abdon, all of Klal Yisrael, the guf. Hama didn't say stop keeping Brismila, Shabbos, or Shchodesh. His inyan was right away the inyan of Lahum Allah Abdam, to wipe out Klal Yisrael. Minoshim, Anoshim, Noshim, V'taf. Inyan of Chanukah was a gzeira on the Ruchnius of Yidden. It was entire mitzvahs. However, Klal Yisrael rebelled. When Klal Yisrael rebelled back and pushed back, then started a war. And then it was a war, and there was Taka Mulchama. And we Taka were saved also Begashmis. But this Yeshua Begashmis was all a titzah of the Mulchama Ruchnis that happened. Because the Yevanim didn't have an inyan to destroy Klal Yisrael Begashmis. They said, you could stay here. Just be like us. If you be like us, everything is good. Haman didn't give that option. He didn't give that option. Yeah. Now,
so Simon, Chanukah, the great was the Purim.
So what does that say? What does that mean?
The Nechama is in the bottom, the Nechama is in the top. The Lamala or nothing.
So, thank you. So, now we can understand something else. We know on Purim there's a chiyuv of Mishta v'Simcha. We have a big Suda, tremendous Suda, a big Suda Purim, and we have a Mishta v'Simcha and Yayin, and it's a very big Inyan of Simcha, and Mishleich Manis, all the food, and the Gashmias. However, in Chanukah, we don't find that Chazal were Keveya Suda. Every Yom Tov we have a Suda. Purim and Pesach and Sukkot you have Sudas. No Suda, Chiv Suda on Chanukah. If you have a Suda and you're gonna and you're gonna say Shivus at the Bachis, it'll be a Sudas mitzvah. There's no Chiv that I have to watch. If someone didn't have a Suda on Purim, he's okay, still a good Chanukah, still a good Jew. He goes on a diet the whole Chanukah, but he can't be Masana. You can't fast. You have to eat, but as long as it's not a tinies. So this is all the same idea. Chanukah we celebrate by lighting a candle. A candle is a very spiritual idea. V'havdol elef havdalis, even a goyim recognize the idea of candles. When they want to light something spiritual, they light a candle. Candle symbolizes light, symbolizes spirituality, ruchniut. So when we light a candle, it's a ruchniistic chagiga on Purim, on Chanukah. Purim, it's more gashmius, the food and the sheikh manat and the money and the matanas of yoinim and the suda and the mishta. Chanukah, he said it's a ruchnistic Yeshua. The mitzvah is ruchnistic. Purim was a gashmistic Yeshua. The mitzvah is gashmis. This is the general thing. The place can bring this down. This chiluk.
So the Greek wants to make our body like strong and this. So we
Focus on the body.
focus on the body. So we go ahead and eat like all metukan, all the deep oil, to show that we don't care about the body. We want to look like a Sufgania.
This, where does it say this? What does it say this Taita? I don't know.
I'm saying.
It sounds more like a Purim Taita than a Chanukah Taita. Pashas the oil is because the nest of the oil.
Exactly.
That's the Pasha Tikkun. There is a big discussion, just to add to this whole idea, besides the fact that Klal Yisrael was a ruchnis Tikkun Muhammad, it was a gzeira against mitzvahs and everything. You also find that then a lot of Klal Yisrael did go over to the Yevanim. They were called Misyavnim. They were Misyavin. They became part of the Yevanim. The Hellenists in English, they called them. And a lot of them went with their Mahalach, like we saw, unfortunately, different times in history. That, the Communist Party had Yiv Sexia. Yiv Sexia, Yiv Ivrei means Jewish in Russian.
They are the one that did it, actually.
Yiv Sexia was a Jewish section of the Communist Party. They believed 100% in all the communist theories, more than the communists believed in it. And their job, they were given the task, these Jews, to make sure to wipe out Judaism from the Russian countries, and they worked very hard on that, on closing down the shuls. And they knew, because they were Jews, they knew where everything was and who everyone was, and they were family members. Families were torn apart because there were different children that got caught up with this. Let's remember, it was very personal. There were families, and even you hear big Hasidic families that they managed to stay strong. Some of the siblings didn't. Some of the family members didn't. Right? So, depends which ones. Some went over to the communists. That doesn't mean that they all became part of the Sexia, but they thought about, they liked ideas.
The idea was a
idea. Sexia was already a whole. They thought they would all be saved and everything. And then one day, Stalin Yamachshamay killed them out in the ending of Sexia. He didn't need them. It was just a tool. So he got rid of them. But so it was a very tough time, because Klal Yisrael was not only a mute against we were only fighting the Yevanim with amongst ourselves. The Shomer Torah mitzvahs that had a munah themselves were the mute, clapping the other. In Roiv Klal Yisrael, the Rebbe points out that we say in Alanissim, Mesarta Giborim Yad Chalashim, Rabim Yad Ma'atim, Tmeim Metahorim, Shoim B'Yad Tzdikim, Zaydim B'Yad Oiskis Osef. To say Rabim Yad Ma'atim, Giborim Yad Chalashim, Rabim Yad Ma'atim is very understood what it was. These are strong, they were on the hands of weak. Rabim B'Yad Ma'atim, it's a big mess. But you start saying Tzadikim, Toirim B'Yad Tmeim, Tzadikim B'Yad Shoim, how does it bring out the nest? These three next parts, the nest that it was the Shayim and Tzadikim and Tmeim, and Tzadikim, Tmeim and Tahirim. It doesn't talk about how strong they were. So the Rebbe says, no, it does, because they're trying to bring out how much more they had. That the concept of the Shayim in general, when we use the word Rasha, refers dafka to a Yid usually. Okay, we say Esav Rasha, Haman Rasha, but in general, the concept of what we apply, Tzaddik Rasha, is amongst Klal Yisrael. He's a Rasha. A guy is anti-Semit. So that we say in Alanissim the Tefillah, we say Misarta Gibayim Chalasha Amiyad V'Tveim Athoidim Shem B'Yad Tzadikim. It means the Shayim means that the Misyavnim were given the hands of the Tzadikim. Tmeim B'Yad Tahoidim as well. That concept of Tuma and Tara It's by Yidden. A guy says in halacha, when it comes to tumas mace, a guy touches a mace, he doesn't become tummy. Tuman tara is a concept by a yid. Yid is a neshama, and after the kiss, he can have tuman tara. So the Rebbe points out that these other three are bring magdul the ness because it shows how strong and powerful the Yevanim were, that they had the majority of Klal Yisrael went over to their side. So those that kept strong were mamash amiyut. In Chassidus Svarim, in Chabad Chassidus, also a little bit to other Svarim, it brings out more how it was a Mechamer Ruchnis, idea of Chanukah, that it's the Lashkicham Teira Secha, Alavira Mechuket Senecha, meaning that the Yevanim, it wasn't pshat, even certain mitzvahs they would be okay with. Mitzvahs that made sense. It was logical, it was mishpatim, things like that. They're okay, you have your traditions, things that make sense. But if you want to say illogical things that you're doing, this doesn't make sense. Vashkicham Torah secha. You want to learn Torah, you develop the beautiful wisdom, but to bring out this Hashem's Torah, the connection to Hashem, a religious aspect they didn't want. So that was all the fact that it was a Muhammad Ruchnis, which brought out, since they revolted, it ended up being going into the Muhammad Gashmis. Okay, let's go weiter.
Some people say that what the Israeli government wants to take all these Yeshiva Bochum now to the army. That's the Mechamer from the one. Mamash. They don't need us, but they want to actually come to the section. This is the Mechamer.
We just have to make sure that there's no Chil Hashem, that they, like either we're not, that people are not learning Torah, they're not part of the whole effort. They have to give their children up and go to they feel we have to give up their children, go to the army, and people get to drinking coffee. So it's a shayla. So the one that we're learning Torah have to show the taka, the limit of Torah is taka on that level, that the emes is that there is a real issue with the army because of the ruchnistic aspect that we understand that they had. What goes on in the army, they're not exactly meant.
That's what they do. That's what they try to do.
It's not David HaMelech's army, so it's run a little differently. So, okay, and we have other issues with the army. Yeah, Pashas is also a lot of sin going on from certain people. Not everyone. Some people say Pashas don't understand, and it's very hard to understand. Not everyone's the same, you know. There are big people that they don't really need the Charedim in the army. It's not really necessary, and they don't need us, and
we had Shabbos Mincha over here. This Shabbos, somebody that was in the war and he lost his left hand, the bottom, the one I show, and came at this Shabbos because he came forward.
He just came from October 7th. He lost.
It was October 7th or before.
He had an accident. Nothing to do
in the army.
Yeah, but nothing to do with the war. The accident.
In the army.
No, Connecticut, I think.
Yeah.
With his family and a car.
Yeah.
So the point is that he said that when he was in the army, the general was, before they went to Gaza, he says, said no, it could be looking from there. So the army rejected him. So he said it was a Malcolm against why they do it is
100%.
You know, to took from his stomach meat and to put it in the
Gimel, Siv Gimel. Chanukah mutter b'asiyas malacha. Ach hanoshim noigel sheis latzis malacha kozman sheneris b'bayis dolkin ve'ein lahokel lahem. So if they tell you have to make supper, you have to make supper. Natam shanoshim achmiris b'yoyser. Why are they more machron than men?
You can't make supper.
Shagzeira.
It's better for the dog to cook in the kitchen. That type of malacha. What is it? I thought
yeah, some people say it's just sewing and.
Which one am I sewing these days?
I like things for latkes. I don't know how many women really have takakipas minik. There's one to laundry. Right. Shagzeira is a kasha b'reis Yisrael. Shagazru psula nisas if Sula gets married first, first she has to go to the general. V'oid nes nasa yidei isha. Bas yoichin kohen gadol hoisi fast toyer me'oid. V'biksha hamelach hatzorah shetishki v'moi. V'amalei, she told him shetamala bakashasei. She's going to listen to him. V'chilasei tafshili gvina. She fed him cheese dishes. V'shiyitzme, you should become thirsty. V'yishta yayin. V'yishtaker. V'yishen v'yiradin. V'chein haya v'chatchas reishi, she cut off his head. V'yasi yishalayim. V'kiroi sar tzvam ki ovid malkam. V'yanusu. They ran away. L'chein ksas noigin lechem acholi chala b'chanukah. Zeichel anesh anasi dei chalav. Just interesting, by the way. I don't think it says in halacha about eating oily foods, but it talks about milchiks. But the fact that we eat latkes and donuts that have oil doesn't say befeilish and shachman. It's interesting. Yeah. Kol hashmanim kshedim l'ner Chanukah. Mikomok in mitzvah mufcher likach shemen zayis. Dumia denas shebemikdash shahaya b'shemen zayis. Any matzoi, yive shar shemen sha'oyre zach b'naki, oy nedeshal shaiba. Any other oil, it could be a different oil. It's not olive oil. You have in the store many types of oils. And or you take wax. Shagam kin oilen zach also has very nice, pure light. You shouldn't have two wax candles twined together like a havdalah. The kol ner yichidi. It seems like the halacha talks about this, that the cloisters, the churches would sell wax candles. It's disgusting to use that for a mitzvah. It's not like Shabbos that the Gemara in Perikah Memadlikim, Imadlikim, you read it, yeah? So I don't have the minute to read it. Ashkenazim read it. I think the Sfardim read it. Yeah. So, huh? So, but however, Chanukah is different. The whole problem with Shabbos is you have to have a good psila, a good shemen. Reason being, because we're worried if you're not going to have a good psila shemen, we're worried you're going to matter the ner while you're reading. It's not going to be good, the light. You're going to have to fix it because it's not good quality. You're going to have to fix it on Shabbos. So you're going to come to move it while you're reading. They're doing something. You're going to move it a little, tilt it. However, Chanukah also l'shtamash lo'iden. You can't learn and you can't eat and learn la'er the ner. Also l'shtamash lo'iden. Since the Asr doesn't make a difference what type of seal and shemen you use. We're not worried that we have no worry for it. It says, Ein lano that the sheer, the remez is, Ein lano l'oisim avad, the sheer, ein l'shtamash behen. Ein l'shtamash behen is how long? How long is it ein l'shtamash behen? A half hour. That half hour, should look at the natives. That's the remez that we look at the natives for a half hour. What type of wick should you use? Boimvol, which is wool from the tree. Means cotton. Cotton, yeah.
Cotton, yes. That's the nicest.
That's called, that's cotton, that's from the trees.
In English.
Silois chadoshes. So you're allowed to use the old ones. Some people use the old ones. Some people use new ones. That depends on the minhag. Imadlik b'ner shel cheres, even shilvei laila echad nasi yashon, ve'im elikim elasheni mishum demoyis. It's not nice when you light with ner shel cheres. Kein tila menorah nosh u'min matris. A person should use a metal menorah. What type of metal? Mishi yodei maseges Yikne menorah shel kesef hidden mitzvah. That's hidden mitzvah. But if not, any metal one is fine. Any metal menorah doesn't have to be a dafke silver pialacha. That's the inyan of hidden. Mini pasha medina seinu ki mahadin mahadin.
In Shterot, the Chabad says the nicest in life. So the picture,
Kal da'ilum.
the rockets, they ascended, they took the rockets and did the banana.
Instead of, yeah. So on the Bachrim, the yeshivas, the very mahader, with the cans and the bottles, to make the various menukas.
The most dangerous fire.
They don't have the money for kesef, so they take the beer bottles and the Snapple bottles and they're making the yeshiva what the Bachrim are doing. Okay, now we have in the Gemara three levels. It's very interesting. For Ner Chanukah, we have three levels. The basic level, Mahadrin, and the Mahadrin Mina Mahadrin. By the concept in Kashrus, this language that's used in Kashrus, Mahadrin, Mahadrin Mina Mahadrin, it stems from Chanukah. The Gemara in Parak Mamadlik, in the second Parak in Shabbos, discusses the dinim of Chanukah, and this is the source for this terminology. It doesn't say it Lagabe Kashrus. I'm not saying it's wrong to use it. I'm just telling you where the source of it is. The original source of this language comes from Chanukah. That there are three different levels how to light the menorah. The Gemara says you can light one ner for the whole house, the whole family, no matter how many people live there. Ikar halacha is one ner. So if you see a guy lighting one ner every night of Chanukah, just one ner, can't throw a stone at him. That's the halacha. Ner isha base, one is enough for a household. For every night, no matter how many people are there, one ner. That's the ikar halacha. Then we step up to Mahadrin. There is two different interpretations of what Mahadrin means. It's machlekes over there in the Gemara between Rashi and Tosfos. Some say Mahadrin means that every person should light a ner, one ner. Meaning everyone's still lighting one ner, but every person's lighting a ner. Another shita is that Manhadra means that you're still lighting one menorah per household, but you're not lighting one ner every night. You're lighting 1, 2, 3, to going up with every day. That's Mahadrin. Mahadrin mina Mahadrin is that everyone in the house should light a menorah, and they should go in an ascending order, not one. Okay, so Mahadrin mina Mahadrin has two aspects to it. Everyone is lighting, and everyone is ascending higher. The women have a minhag that when they are lighting, the men are there, so they don't light. The men light for the meaning like the man will be might see his wife or the daughter might see the daughter. However, if a woman is by herself, she 100% has to light menorah. There's no shaila about it. People make a mistake with this. Women are chayiv to light the menorah, and in the seminaries where the girls are there for Chanukah, when in their all these different places, the dormitories, the high schools where the girls are dorming, they have to light menorah. And they could have one person light for all of it. One person could light for them in the room. Someone has to light. Yeah. I even heard of one place where because women didn't light the menorah, that the whole seminary was going to the manal of the seminary's home that was nearby, and they're all going. They're eating a donut, and he lit the menorah from there. That's incorrect. That's not correct. They don't live in his house. That's not their home. They have to light in their home, in the seminary, either in their dining room or in their dormitory. There has to be a menorah lit. And they have to make a bracha, and they have to light. The reason why women didn't light on their own when the husband was there, the father was there, the Chassam Sofer explains because of the idea of tznius. Because remember, originally menorah lighting was done mamish outside the home. Like in Eretz Yisrael today, a lot of places are doing that now, where the idea of Pesach Beis B'chutz was not a doorway in your home. It was literally all the way on the street that you went and lit. So the women, whole Kudas Malapim, it wasn't the idea of women doesn't do the outdoor functions, that they're in the public standing there and they're going to be saying the brachas and lighting. So the father lit, the husband lit, and he was mighty them, and the boys and the other barchim lit their own menorah. And they were yoitz of the mitzvah, so they didn't have the inyan of mahajim and a mahajim. Because remember, mahajim has everyone to light. They didn't have that, but they were yoitza. The ikar hadin is their isha beisai, and they have mahajim. They had the second level also because the father lights in ascending order. But they didn't have the idea of mahajim and a mahajim because they were yoitza with tzad the inyan of tznius. So even when we do light in the house, this became the minhag that women didn't light. But not that it's any isser or anything. It's not an isser. But from there came some type of mistaken notion that as if women are not chayiv and Chanukah, they're chayiv the same as the men, if not different, if not a higher madrega, but not lower, because the nest was the ikr for the women. Sif Vav, inside. Minig paship in the Senate Gehad Mahad. In our countries, the pashita minig is to do like the Mahadrim min a Mahadrim. Shemadlikin kol echa be'echa be'be'ayis alayla b'arishan echad. Everyone lights, everyone in the family lights one ner. O Hasheni, the second day, shtei neres. Be'ichem esifan ach v'loshmini madlikin shmoina. Everyone should put their candles in a special spot. It shouldn't be like a whole bunch together. It's not clear that what night it is.
Otherwise, it look like a medura.
You should have like a certain thing you're lighting on, like a menorah or something, where it's clear how many you're lighting. Those days, they always lit candles at home. So what was the lighting of candles in Chanukah? It had to be clear that's different. Don't light in that same spot where a whole year you light your candles for light in the room. If you're going to put your candles there for Chanukah, no one's going to see it as for the nest. There's no zeicher for the nest. You have to do it in a unique place where you don't usually light candles a whole year. So we don't have this problem. Siv Zayim, mitzvahs ner Chanukah, lahadlik a Pesach asamach l'shasarabim, in the doorway to the close to the shasarabim, mishum persumei nisa. V'kach are you oisim izman ha-mishma gemara. Nowadays, we're not in Eretz Yisrael, we're not amongst this Klal Yisrael alone. We light in the house. If not, you light it near the door, inside the house. It's a mitzvah to put it within a tefach near the left side of the door, way entry, shetehei mezuzah miyamin. When you stand in the doorway to light your menorah, you have mitzvahs all around you. You have Chanukah, you're standing and lighting your menorah, and behind you, you have the mezuzah. So you're surrounded by mitzvahs. And not next to it. It's mamish to put it in the actual door and way, if you could. So Meshach in history, it was very difficult to light outdoors, and even by the window, many places it wasn't a sakana to light there. So you'd light inside the house. Now things changed, and we're able to light. So we have different minhagim. Chabad and different other Hasidic groups At least the Rebbe's still light indoors by the doorway to get the inyan of mitzvahs, and most people are lighting by the window because they have the pesumei nissa of the window. They don't have the idea of mesuvah b'mitzvahs. You don't have the mezuzah, and you're not lighting by the left. However, they held up the idea of pesumei nissa is more important, like it says in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch.
You're on the sixth floor. Nobody really can see it.
Right? So if you're over 20 amas high in a building, let's say over a building and your building is over 20 amas high, then you might as well light by, you're not going to gain anything there, so might as well light by pesel base. And now, today, you have a matziv like in Eretz Yisrael, where it's mamish Yidden living amongst themselves and it's good weather, so they light mamish outside like they did in the Zman Chazal. They light mamish pesel base in bachutz, not inside the house.
Yeah, these glasses.
So Chabad sticks to the old, not changing the way the minhag was for hundreds of years, that we did it in the house. I think because the Api Kabbalah, the idea of lighting by the smoil, the left, to light up the left side and having the mezuzah on the right was more essential than the idea of the lighting by the window. I don't know what they do. The Lubavitch is doing Yishalayim, Eretz Yisrael, Bnei Brak.
I did it by the
Outside.
porch, yeah, in Yerushalayim.
So it could be over there. You have both milas because there you could do it. You could do it outside, and you can have the idea of doing it by the mezuzah, the outer mezuzah. So you can have both milas. I think they have cases that they put on it.
Yeah, but Moshe Kassim that you live in the high rise and you could Google right across you, then
Oh, okay, good word. You have something. You have to make sure that it doesn't have a back to it. The menorah. Now they don't have it as much, but all the menorahs had the back. So if you had the back, so the facing you see.
Right.
And you only have. Me'ikar hadin, by the way, I just want to point out that all this discussion where to light is only for where's the better place to light. Me'ikar, from the bare minimum of the halacha, if you put it right down on your table and you light your menorah, you're yotzei. Even though it's not. Why? Because you have pesumanis for bnei abayis. We rely that lachatchila you're supposed to have pesumanis outside. Because of you can't light outside. You light indoors. The pesumanis is for the bnei abayis. We light by the doorway because that's optimal to have the idea of the silver b'mitzvahs. But if you don't have the idea of the silver b'mitzvahs and you light it on the table, you're still yotzei.
Yeah, and all the shul, they put it on the table.
Yeah.
But like the window or
Good point.
So it's about halakia. We didn't write it on the table.
Good point. Yeah.
also years ago in Yerushalayim, the Arab, what they would do on Friday night, they would go out.
They would have fun with all the menorahs.
Yeah, they knew Friday night you can't be lighted.
No. They were Talmidei Chachamim.
Huh?
They were Talmidei Chachamim. So that's a problem. Yeah. I don't know what the minhag is. I don't know. I didn't take a look what happens there. You know, in Chanukah. I wasn't there ever in Eretz Yisrael Chanukah, so I don't know.
There's a kid and they said that
What would he do it?
Mama by the street. But the from the street to go to his fatzer was like wasn't usable. So it was
In this area.
the whole mile is you. And he had like a case. It's like a glass. It's
places
too,
where, let's say, Buckham have deers that they're lighting it outside. They have the little boxes. They're stacked up.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, you can see like 20 or 30.
Stacked up on top of each other?
Yeah.
They're like holes in the front of the boxes and stuff?
it made special for that. If the wind doesn't
But he's saying that he's saying it has like a door that opens it,
Yes.
and they could stack them one on top of the
It's
other.
not like but the oil. It's
Walking
but the
out
oil
the
they
door,
will put the
they're all
like
there.
the glasses. So
Mm.
this
Mm.
making.
Let's say there's let's see an army base in Israel, and you have a rug or actually it comes to base. It doesn't live there. It's indeed lighted for the people there.
You ask one of the soldiers there to make the book and light usually.
Ah,
That's the way you go.
Oh, he was probably was on the army. So we have from someone on the field. You could do I think you could do shlichus. You could do shlichus. You could. Shlichus work. Well, basically, you're asking. I'm just going to rephrase it. You're asking if the shliach helps for this mitzvah. You're asking if shlichus helps for this mitzvah. Could be a mana shliach for the mitzvah. I think you could be a mana shlichus.
In the chaplain that's on the debate, okay, I think it doesn't want to do.
He's definitely not yoitza there. He has to light in his home.
I think for the other, for the military.
All right, parents, are we going to have a meeting tonight?
The sheriff is coming to you one. Yeah.
Okay, so put out a message. We need a city kodesh. You want another halacha?
There is a gem video when somebody highlights like in the building, like by the window. So when the Rebbe passed by from his house, and suddenly he saw it. And like they told him, what, you know better than Rebbe?
To who was this?
In gem video.
Someone said it's on
he
the
wanted
job?
to pursue it. So he did by the window because he was living in a building. Couldn't do it downstairs because they're going. So Rebbe told him, what, you know better than
Where was this on the job video this week?
One of them was Shabbos.
What Rebbe said, you know,
Better than
I'm showing you.
So
So you were there, Chanukah, I see.
So in your house,
So this was on porch.
not to be in the
Facts.
inside the house. You have also
any door.
there's the mezuzah on one side. Oh, Asiri Koyde.
Shkoya. One more?
You go number 10.
Number 10, we have here about Shlomo.
You're number 1.
Thank you, Askaya.
Who is that?
About 20 minutes ago, I couldn't hear.
And the story? 20 minutes ago? What story is it?
Something else had 20 minutes ago, I couldn't.
Thank you, everyone.